There are 539 childcare centers in Washington state that list Somali as the primary language. Most don't even give a street address. I don't know how many of these are submitting fraudulent claims for state grants and subsidies, but I have a strong hunch the number is not zero. So Washington state, too. The same search tool shows a total of 5,046 childcare centers in Washington state. Over 10% of childcare centers in the state list Somali as the primary language. Most are concentrated in the Seattle, Tacoma, Western Washington region. Seems high. That's kind of wild. This is findchildcarewashington.org. I already told how their society is based on fraud and getting as much as possible by any means. Yeah, but it seems just like an illogical thing to me. Like, even rationally, if I know what I read about how fraud isn't a thing in their culture, it's still just wild to see it everywhere. As the December sun set over central Utah's sandstone peaks, a couple ventured down a nondescript dirt road to snap photos against the backdrop of a red rock vista. Instead, they stumbled across a grisly discovery among smattered shrubs and parched soil: the decomposed remains of a little girl. When sheriff's deputies arrived in the sparsely populated stretch of Caneville, it was clear they would be investigating a homicide. The unidentifiable girl had died from gunshot wounds to her head. Wounds, multiple, Jesus fuck. Unbeknownst to investigators at the time, they had found the remains of 9-year-old California girl Melodee Buzzard, whose confounding disappearance during a road trip with her mother had mobilized a vast network of local, state, and federal investigators who searched for 2 months across 8 states. An image of her cheeky smile and cascade of ringlet curls had been projected across the nation by media, law enforcement, and the concerned public. Ultimately, it would take 2 more weeks before they determined all signs pointed to a suspect whom Melodee trusted the most in the world. Santa Barbara County Sheriff Coroner Bill Brown said. Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, was arrested Tuesday and charged with first-degree murder in her daughter's killing, which a criminal complaint said was carried out with exceptional cruelty and viciousness. Murmurs rose in a courtroom Friday as Buzzard pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors said they would not seek the death penalty if she is convicted, but would instead ask for the life in prison without parole. No. Why would you not seek the death penalty? Why should taxpayers pay to keep a woman who murdered her daughter alive, allegedly? Murdered her daughter alive, by the way. My brain is gooping so hard today. I am sorry. It's like, why would you want to keep her alive? If you can resoundly prove that she did it, if there is enough evidence to 100% case close this, why would you not seek the death penalty? Investigators said that they were stymied by deliberate efforts to hide the truth, clumsy disguises, swapped license plates, and suspicious driving, and an uncooperative mother who could never provide a reasonable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. CNN has reached out to Buzzard's attorney for comment. Here's how investigators say they finally pieced together DNA, ballistics, and a multi-state web of leads to connect Melodee's mother to her killing. The universe where Melodee lived with her mother was small. It revolved around a single-story home that looked like any other in their Lompoc, California neighborhood, where the streets bore whimsical names like Stardust Road, Pluto Avenue, and Solar Way. Many of Melodee's extended relatives had not seen her for years. They had largely lost contact with the mother after Melodee's father died in a motorcycle accident when she was a baby. Her aunt Elizabeth Meza told News Nation. It was not her family that reported her missing in October, but a concerned school administrator. On October 14th, Melodee's school asked the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office to do a welfare check on the child due to her prolonged absence, according to a timeline from investigators. School employees had not seen Melodee since August, when Buzzard enrolled her in a study program that would allow her to attend school remotely, according to the Sheriff's Office and Lompoc Unified School District. This school sighting helped detectives narrow their search early in the investigation, when the previous sighting of Melodee was sometime last year. Officers arrived at the Buzzard family home on October 14th, but only found Ashley Buzzard, who had no verifiable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts, the Sheriff's Office said. When they searched the home, Melodee was nowhere to be found. The next day, investigators executed a search warrant on the Buzzard home and uncovered information that would dramatically narrow their search window. Buzzard had recently rented a car at a local rental agency where surveillance cameras captured Buzzard and Melodee disguised in wigs, the sheriff's office said. I remember this one. Images released to the public show Buzzard in thick golden curls and Melodee with a hoodie pulled over thick bangs. As they drove, Buzzard swapped the car license plate, put on a new wig, and backed the car into gas stations in an apparent attempt to avoid surveillance cameras. Brown alleged, citing evidence gathered by investigators, including surveillance footage. Kid murderers usually don't do very well in women's prisons. You hope the fine folk get as much entertainment they can. Yeah, I hope taxpayers don't have to pay for a burden for very long. Melodee was last seen on video with Ashley on October 9th near the Colorado-Utah state line. Detectives now believe Melodee was killed shortly after this sighting, the sheriff said. Buzzard returned to their Lompoc home the next day without Melodee, the sheriff's office said. FBI agents and sheriff deputies executed another search warrant on October 30th at Buzzard's home, a storage unit she had rented, and the rental vehicle, the sheriff said. A spent bullet casing was found inside the home, and a similar round of live ammunition was found in the car. The expended casing was submitted to a national ballistic imaging database called NEBIN, run by the Bureau of ATF. Wow, interesting. As Buzzard remained uncooperative, officers surveilled the mother around the clock, while others spent weeks painstakingly following promising leads. The sheriff's office continuously updated the public and asked for their help submitting tips, walking a thin line as they tried to share as much information as possible without compromising their efforts. All the while, officers were hoping against hope that she would be safely found. Despite the relentless search for Melodee, the discovery of her remains was an unlikely accident. Her body was found in the rural community of Caneville, Utah, where a handful of homes are separated by long stretches of land and wrinkled stone outcroppings. The couple who mistakenly found her had pulled off a state highway onto an easily missed dirt road. Until the December 6th discovery, the case had appeared to stall and detectives lacked definitive evidence to charge Buzzard in her daughter's disappearance. But the remains, later identified as Melodee, and items left at the scene provided key links to Buzzard. After the unidentified body was found, a lab in Utah analyzed items left at the scene, according to the sheriff in Wayne County. In less than 24 hours, the crime lab obtained confirmation that the Wayne County case was connected to the Santa Barbara case. Cartridge cases found at the scene were flagged in the InBin database as linked to the single cartridge that was found at Buzzard's home. Prosecutors later wrote that Buzzard allegedly killed Melodee using a 9mm gun. Why? For what purpose? It wasn't until December 22nd that an FBI crime lab was able to determine that the remains from Utah were a familial DNA match to Buzzard, and investigators got a warrant to arrest Buzzard on suspicion of murder. We have recovered a significant amount of evidence that clearly indicates that this heinous crime was committed by Ashley Buzzard. Buzzard was formally charged on Christmas Eve and is being held without bail. In a criminal complaint, prosecutors accused her of lying in wait to kill Melodee as the child was particularly vulnerable, allegations the mother has denied. What the actual fuck? Who goes across states just to do this? I'm also very interested in the lying in wait portion, because like, when I read about this before, the mother had like driven the little girl across a bunch of states. So did she just like dump her in some abandoned area and then like hide in the trees or some shit and just like wait? Like what? Couldn't they have waited until after Christmas to arrest her? Why? Why would she deserve to have a Christmas if she allegedly murdered her daughter? Makes sense trying to cover up the crime. Weeks of premeditation. Renting a car was stupid though, instead of buying a beater for cash. I mean, she changed the plates a bunch, so that kind of threw them off her trail for a bit. Though investigators believe the killing was planned before they embarked on the road trip, they have still not located a weapon or been able to pinpoint a motive. Everybody's asking themselves, why did she do this? How can you do that to a baby? Melodee's paternal grandmother, Lily Denz, told CNN affiliate KSBY. Brown said Tuesday that the ruthlessness of the killing and the degree of alleged premeditation are difficult to understand. This level of criminal activity is particularly shocking, given the calculated, cold-blooded, criminally sophisticated premeditation and heartlessness that went into planning it. Mapping Buzzard's movements across states required coordination from more than a dozen agencies, including FBI field offices in 7 cities. FBI Special Agent in Charge Patrick Grandy said, "As the case goes to trial, the FBI will continue to assist local law enforcement through lab analysis and by pursuing remaining leads. Grady encouraged the public to keep reaching out with information that may help investigators. The sheriff said the mother has remained uncooperative after her arrest, adding there was no change in her attitude and her demeanor. During Buzzard's arraignment on Friday, a judge granted a temporary restraining order that will prevent the sheriff's office from discussing any details of the case that have not already been publicly released. I mean, this kind of unfortunately makes sense, right? Because if the sheriff has more information, you wouldn't want to, I guess, what's the word? Yeah, you don't want to compromise the jury. That's the word I'm looking for. You don't want to compromise the jury, because if too many people have like too much information, it's harder to get a fair trial. The information should be coming out during the court proceedings, you know? While the remains offered a breakthrough in the case, they also delivered a heartbreaking blow to the investigators who had dedicated months to recovering the lost child. We were all hoping to find Melodee alive, as you undoubtedly were as well, Grady said to reporters. Brown added that his agency has been deeply affected by the case. Melodee's paternal family was in court Friday, watching as Buzzard pleaded not guilty. Marvin Meza, Melodee's uncle, told KSBY he doesn't understand why prosecutors are not seeking the death penalty. How much of an accident was her father's motorcycle accident as well? What she did is despicable, Meza said. For what she did, the punishment should be a lot worse. Meza said, I just want the public to understand that Melodee was loved. The sheriff took a moment during Tuesday's news conference to speak directly to Melodee's family, who he said endured unimaginable pain throughout this ordeal. Their strength, patience, and steadfast hope have been evident from the very beginning. No family should ever have to experience this kind of loss, and our hearts are with them today and will be with them in the difficult days ahead. May God bless the innocent soul of Melodee Buzzard, who we will never ever forget. Man, I really want to know why the fuck this happened. Like, why this much premeditation? Why this much trying to, like, obscure the fact that you were doing it? Like, what? Why? Especially if they had, like, an extended family that seemed to love the child. Why not just give the child to the extended family? The other case that we've been following here, the David murder, where he definitely didn't do anything. Sometimes women just crawl into Teslas and tie themselves inside a bag and die. A burn cage incinerator was found in David's home that can reach 1600 degrees Fahrenheit and incinerate human bones. I don't know why you'd really need that. I mean, obviously he didn't use it because her body was found. But like, I don't know why you would need that, I guess. A burn cage incinerator that reaches up to 1600 degrees Fahrenheit and can supposedly cremate humans was found at musical artist David's Hollywood Hills rental home. 20-year-old singer, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was deemed a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, 15, last month. She was found decomposing in the trunk of his impounded Tesla on September 8th, one day after her 15th birthday, while David was on tour around the country. 9 days later, homicide detectives raided the $4.1 million Hollywood Hills rental home where Burke had been staying and seized several items of evidence. I think what's absolutely crazy is, like, this is a guy I had literally never heard of before until this murder investigation. And this guy is renting a $4.1 million Hollywood home? Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? The residence owner, Mladen Trifunovac, hired private investigator Steve Fisher after the search to look into whether the teen girl had ever stayed at the home. Now, Fisher said that a burn cage with enough power to turn a dead person's body to ashes had been found at the ritzy Los Angeles spot, once occupied by Burke. Given that Celeste Rivas Hernandez's remains were ultimately found in the Tesla trunk, the presence of an incinerator at the same residence associated with that vehicle necessarily raises questions about intent. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess you could use this to safely burn, like, cardboard and shit. Like, there's, like, a pizza box back there. But you also could just have a normal fire pit and burn it a little at a time. Like that's what I know normal people do. David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was deemed as a suspect. Why did they use this picture? That's random. Fisher said the burn cage was delivered to Burke's rented home under a false name. The deliveries had been accepted at the Hollywood Hills residence. That's even fucking weirder. What the fuck? What? Why? Why would you have it delivered under a false name? The private investigator called the items found in David's home things that you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. Fisher said one of those items was a burn cage incinerator advertised to burn at 1600 degrees. Human cremations are typically performed at approximately 1400 degrees. An incinerator is not legal to use within city limits and serves no legitimate purpose at a residential property in the Hollywood Hills. Fisher pushed back against arguments claiming that the incinerator could have been a prop for a music video. He asked, why would a 55-pound burn cage be delivered to a private residence instead of directly to a prop designer or production house? Why would it be ordered before departing on an extended world tour? And why was it never used in any video production? All good questions. Though the burn cage pictured by Fisher was never used, he said its mere presence raised questions about David's behavior and intent. I feel like there's a lot of evidence pointing to behavior and intent, like writing a song about killing this girl, having matching tattoos with this girl, the girl being a minor. Oh, I don't know. Come the fuck on, he did it. Too much shit is lining up. He was gonna cremate her when he was like, yeah, let me just stick her body in this car for now and I'll cremate her when I get back from the tour. I was like, what a deranged line of thinking, potentially. We think it's important context, Fisher said, even if not criminal. The incinerator attached to Fisher's X-Post appeared to be from the DR Power equipment. Its box read, professional power done right. Burke's Tesla had been abandoned for days near Doheny Place and Bluebird Avenue, just blocks from the 4-bedroom rental home. The singer's manager, Josh Marshall, signed the lease in February 2024, the same month that Celeste was first reported missing from her family's home in Lake Elsinore. Trifanovic previously told the Daily Mail that Marshall had asked to terminate the lease after Los Angeles police raided the home and subsequently began moving out both his and Burke's belongings. Like everyone else, I want to know who's responsible for this and how a little girl's disappearance could slip through so many layers of responsibility. The homeowner added that you never imagined for 1 second that a property you own could be dragged into something like this. Burke was determined a suspect in Celeste's death last month, TMZ reported, although he had not been charged with any wrongdoing to date. With the rampant speculation surrounding her death, the LAPD obtained a court order forbidding the LA County Medical Examiner's Office from releasing any details about the teen girl's autopsy. Her case was also removed from the medical examiner's website. I really hope that this is specifically to try and like nail this guy to the cross for this, because otherwise I don't know why you would do this. In a prepared statement, Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Ode Ukpo pushed back against the order. The practice of security holds is virtually unheard of in other countries and has not been proven to improve outcomes in the legal system. We're dedicated to serving our community with full transparency. However, the law precludes us from doing so while the court order remains in effect in this case. The general manager of Burke's record label, Robert Morgenroth, spent the entire day speaking to a grand jury in Los Angeles about Celeste's death. The manager was asked why he didn't contact the authorities, though the exact context of what the initial incident he would have contacted them over wasn't immediately clear. And this is the burn cage discovery, I guess, is the only update. This person is not aware of the rumors around Hollywood and the whole horrific speculations about draining the blood of the innocent. I don't think this is one of those cases. Payounin TV, who is he? R. Kelly? No, he didn't pee on her. I guess that we know of, at least. Primary Sabotage, a niqab-wearing Muslim woman who has voted Democrat since at least 2008, is the only Republican running for North Carolina Senate. Where was that guy earlier that said at least North Carolina is only stabbing police officers and there's no fraud yet? Where's that guy? He's probably literally ripping his hair out. So, we mentioned previously that there were Democrats purposefully registering as Republicans in order to, like, fuck up primaries. And I noticed with some of the Republicans who are actually in seats in New Hampshire, they sound more like Democrats than actual Republicans. And so it made me think, damn, I wonder how many Republicans Rhino is too nice of a name for them. And so now we have this. In a move that has shocked conservatives across social media, a niqab-wearing Muslim woman named Lakeisha M. Alston has filed to run as a Republican for North Carolina State Senate District 22 in the 2026 election. Alston is the only Republican in the race so far, and her history screams lifelong Democrat. And low-information voters that are looking for anything besides a Democrat are going to vote for this woman. So if you live in State Senate District 22 in North Carolina, you should absolutely figure out someone to run against this woman, because this is going to cause so many fucking issues. The shocking move has led many to question if this is an infiltration tactic from the left. Why would you even question it? It's so obvious! Designed to disrupt GOP primaries and hand victories to Democrats in the general election. Eric Doherty saying, what a joke, true and real. Alston's photo and registration went viral on X when conservative commentator Eric Doherty posted a screenshot of her official filing and an image of her standing between the American and North Carolina flag, fully veiled in a black niqab that obscures her face except for her eyes. The images submitted to the Durham County Board of Elections have gone viral, amassing thousands of likes and reposts as conservatives question the legitimacy of her candidacy. Alston, a low-profile figure with no apparent campaign website or active social media presence tied to her run, filed her notice of candidacy on December 17th, according to the Durham County Board of Elections. Public records paint a clear picture of Alston's political leanings. Voter history from the North Carolina State Board of Elections shows she's been participating in Democratic primaries and general elections since at least 2008. And here's Matt Van Swole, our favorite newcomer to the red pill side. I will never forget how this man only learned mere weeks ago that hands up, don't shoot was faked. Found her voting record. She's been voting as a Democrat since 2008. We have all the Democratic election votes here. Her record includes consistent Democratic primary participation in 2020, 2018, 2016, 2014, 2012, 2010, and 2008. Third-party voter databases like voterrecords.com list her as affiliated with the Democratic Party, registered at an address in Durham, North Carolina since before 2008. Under North Carolina law, candidates must be affiliated with their chosen party for at least 90 days before filing for a primary. Alston filed on December 17th, meaning she would have needed to switch her registration to Republican by September 18th at the latest. This suggests a recent party flip conveniently after the 2024 elections, where she still voted as a Democrat. Unaffiliated voters aren't even allowed to file in party primaries, so she couldn't have pulled this off without formally aligning with the GOP. Alston hasn't publicly explained her shift, and attempts to find her campaign platform yield nothing. There are no websites and no policy statement. Her X account, Lakeisha Alston 1, appears to be abandoned with just 2 followers and an outdated profile picture from 2012. District 22, which covers parts of Durham County, is a solidly blue area, currently held by Democrat. The Democratic primary already has 2 contenders, incumbent Sophia Chitlick and Daedriana Freeman. North Carolina's semi-open primaries allow unaffiliated voters to choose a party ballot, but the real vulnerability is in low turnout primaries where a single questionable candidate can dominate. If Alston wins the GOP nomination unopposed, she could force Republicans into a no-win scenario, where they must either back a candidate with a Democratic track record or watch the seat go uncontested in the general. It's not an infiltration tactic, it's just practical expediency. She's running as a Republican because there are no other candidates. She won't have to run in the Democratic primary. If it was infiltration, she would be a bit more subtle about her true beliefs. There was that trans anarchist you wanted a t-shirt from who was running as a Republican specifically to call attention to this tactic, remember? No. The trans anarchist that was running was very open about their platform. They didn't run as a Republican, and I don't remember them ever talking about this. This was in Maine, and Maine was a purple state. And also, this absolutely is an infiltration tactic. This is a way to either put the Republicans in a no-win situation, like the article said, or if there's no hope for a candidate like this to actually win on a Democratic ticket, and there's no Republicans that are going to be running to oppose the Democrats, it's a very easy way to just de facto start up an infiltration Islamic party under the GOP. Because she's going to get in and not do anything Republican-wise if there's enough people there to vote for her. What do you think they will implement when they get to office? I don't think she's going to get elected. I don't think there's any way she's going to get elected. I don't think there's enough people there who are Islamic to vote her in. So I think it's just going to be a way to basically put the GOP in a down bad position. She can still get in and have a place on some committee to do something or other and start handing out contracts to her family members. That's a good point. It's another good point. So I really hope, I don't know how many people in this area in North Carolina I have in chat, but like, even if I have someone in the Durham area that doesn't have time to run, please find other people that you can get with and have an effect on your local elections. Even if there's no way to take the district from the Democrats, prevent something like this from happening. With no other Republicans stepping up yet, Alston could sail through the GOP primary unopposed on March 3rd, becoming the automatic nominee. The North Carolina Republican Party has yet to comment publicly, but calls are mounting for them to investigate and encourage a true conservative to enter the race before the filing deadline. You guys have until March 3rd. Durham, North Carolina, District 22. Fucking hope you get someone in there, man. Mr. Beast held an event, 1,000 players simulate civilization, boys versus girls. And this person said, I was in this event. Please keep in mind that we only had like 3 to 6 hours of server time each day. The girls' side fell apart for some reason. 1, we unironically had Russian guys use AI images and deepfakes to cheat their way onto the girls' side, and then just start mass murdering every girl they could see. This went on for IRL days out of a week-long competition. But wait, some guy named Quacko, I don't know who either of these people are, as a winner from the guy's side, I want to defend Mr. Beast and his team, as most of what this girl said is coming out of jealousy from not winning. I'm going to respond to every claim. And in response to that first claim, he says, most of the girls who got killed before the wall drop were killed by Foxu. I don't know who that is either. The staff were very helpful in reviving people who died in unfair ways. The girl continues, number 2, these guys also left signs around our side of the map with swastikas and sexist messages. Quacko retorts, while this is true, most of this got resolved in the first day or two, and you can't expect Mr. Beast to be responsible for the actions of 1,000 different people. And if this got resolved and the people who were doing it were taken care of, I don't really see the issue, especially if this was early on. It got taken care of, they got expelled, according to that guy. Number 3, the woman says, one girl on our side, Macchio, whoever that is, independently looked into the socials of all these girls who were murdering other girls and found their YouTube channels and reported it to staff. I think it's important to note that there wasn't even a way for us to report things in the Discord server until she and other girls mass pinged the staff for this functionality in the Discord server. Quacko retorts, number 3, there was an active reporting system since it started, and I know this because a few of my friends and allies who died by lag or another unfair way on day 1 were able to report it and get revived. The woman goes on, number 4, I'm not sure if it was ever confirmed, but there were also reports of girls selling their accounts to guys as well, so the guys could sabotage the girls. Quacko says, this is most likely not true. The guys' team was already competitively better, and I don't think even if that happened, that the outcome of the event would have been different. And if they already had, like, Russians making AI image and deepfake woman accounts, why would anyone need to spend money to buy a girl's account? Like, if the fake AI accounts were getting accepted, why would you spend money? That doesn't make any sense. Number 5, the girls' side had trans girls on it. There's nothing wrong with this, all caps, except after it became common knowledge that there were Russian guys pretending to be girls and rumors of girls selling their accounts to guys, a lot of the girls began reporting and targeting our trans girlies as infiltrators just because of the pitches of their voice. And it started this huge fight on the girls' side about transphobia and such. And I think, regardless of everything else said, number 5 is a very poignant example of why the boys' side would have won anyways. This guy said, number 5, quackers. Not gonna speak on this topic too much, but yeah, like 30% of the girls' side weren't biologically female, and that definitely served a part in not keeping the girls' side unified. It's probably for the best you don't speak about that too much, Mr. Quackers. Number 6, so many girls died to traps set by the fake girls. Which ones? It took the staff days to look into it, determine if those traps were set by fake girls or real girls, and return these girls from their wrongful deaths. But by then, the event was almost over. These girls were returned, had next to no time to prepare for war, much less time to make connections and alliances with their fellow girls. Newsflash, women cannot build society. I think one of my least favorite pushbacks from chat is whenever I say that men are the architects of society and women are the ones who are supposed to maintain it. There's a bunch of people who get really mad when I say that men are the architects. I don't know what to tell you. Men are the ones who build civilization. That's kind of just how it's been throughout history. I don't know why that makes you upset. So number 6, Mr. Quackman said, the time the wall dropped got delayed by a few hours because girls kept complaining. They had no time to prepare. Everyone on the server had more than enough time to prepare, and you should have been preparing since day 1. Should have, but they were busy fighting with each other because of, like, some girls were fake girls, but some fake girls weren't fake girls. They were only partially fake girls, and other fake girls were sabotaging trans girls with fake girl accusations, and this is just why women shouldn't be trusted with power. Number 7, this was marketed initially as a Civ event, not a PvP event. There was such a low amount of girls applying initially that they started to just send the Discord server invite to any girl who showed an interest in playing on a Mr. Beast Minecraft server. You're telling me I had a missed opportunity to not know how to craft things in Minecraft on a large scale? The amount of girls who were invited who didn't even know how to make a crafting table was insane! Oh god, this just gets so good! No hate to them, of course, but Mr. Beast and his team knew that if that wall came down, Mr. Gorbachev! Boys would win because they had top Minecraft players on their side. And the girls had people who didn't even know how to make a crafting table on theirs, much less how to make a sword. Literally me opening my crafting menu and just throwing things in there, seeing what happens. He says, 7 part 1, this is wrong. Since the start, it was marketed as a welcome to 1,000 player civilization boys versus girls, which obviously means it's a PvP event. Yeah, true. If I see something marketed as a civilization boys versus girls, I would assume PvP. Hoodie, the head of Mr. Beast Gaming, also told everyone multiple times that it is a Mr. Beast video and not an ish civ event. I don't know what ish civ is. So it isn't going to follow the average role-playing dynamic of a civ event. 7 part 2. I also, Quacky also, wasn't the most experienced Minecraft player when it was first announced to him. I had to re-download Minecraft to play it and had a few days to practice. If you're complaining about some of the girls being horrible at the game, that's just a skill issue at the end of the day. I love that this guy pulled out the fucking skill issue. Holy shit. Men out here literally building skyscrapers while women are arguing about gender politics. That's fucking crazy. That's insane. And the girl caps it off with, I didn't know if I wanted to say something or not because I didn't want to diminish my chances of being invited to another Mr. Beast event. This is like just a problem in any kind of like sphere of influence. Is like, I don't want to speak up about things that I feel are wrong because I don't want to lose my opportunity to gain clout in the future. If you genuinely feel like something is wrong, you should say something about it. And if it is wrong, people will take your side typically. Not always. Sometimes when whistleblowers say things, everybody swarms them and tries to take them down because you have upset the status quo too much. And if you upset the status quo too much, you're in danger and you must be gotten rid of. Saw a post also mentioning that girls were giving the boys free kills and any help they could because some boys would bribe them with DoorDash. You're really gonna kill the competitive spirit and sell out the rest of your sex for some fucking chicken tendies, lady? What the fuck? Nobody else is speaking up and I'm just seeing too much hate on the girls not to say something. I wish they would have said something about all of this in the actual video instead of leaving a vague thing in their description about cheaters being banned. This has 9.4 million views. The screenshots posted by the girls in UGF server from the event, the signs were originally in Russian and were translated. Blocked out the guys' names because they don't deserve the clout. I fucked your fat asses is literally just par for the course shit talking in a video game. Girls Village where they suck. Why is this blocked out? You said they blocked out names, but like, what did you block out here? Is it a slur? I need a cock to suck on the side. And the boys got spruce. We have spruce. I've been gifted spruce. Oh, there's a swastika on that. So I was like, what's wrong in this screenshot? It's the fucking books all over again. I'm too fucking dumb to be allowed to look at screenshots, chat. When I say fake girls, I'm referring to the whole ass boys using AI deepfakes to cheat their way onto the girl side of the competition to sabotage girls. When I say fake girls, I do not mean trans women and girls. Okay, thanks, bye. I'm turning comments off because too many people are taking this as an opportunity to be transphobic and sexist. Thank you to everyone showing support to the girlies involved. Trans women are women. I hope the next event is done better. This person had to make 2 groveling posts about trans women. Oh man, that's crazy. Let me clarify, this is not an attack on any specific group of people. I just don't want this entire event to get bashed on because the losing side is crying. I got some bad news for you about what woman tears do. Honestly surprised it wasn't more, but you guess she did turn off comments after the second one. Holy shit. Do you think the guy doing the deepfakes won't just say they're trans? Imagine. I've seen guys do that in order to harass people. This just reminds me of the one Survivor episode where the girls team were whining and crying, accomplishing nothing to the point of facing dehydration. Well, the boys team was just a non-stop party where they were eating well and ultimately had to save the women. It's an allegory for society, obviously. White people ate black people openly until the mid-1970s.
Now, I didn't know that this wasn't common knowledge. And if you didn't know this, that means you don't follow me. But white people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves and they ate black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Can I just say, if, like, I'm sure there were some cases of cannibalism occasionally, because there always are everywhere, right? But if you are a slave owner and you have purchased slaves in order to do slave labor, if you kill and cook your slave for consumption, you'll then have to buy a new slave with which to replace him. It's kind of why, like, dairy cows are separate from beef cows, right? And I've been taught a lot about slavery in the US, because as a US citizen, half of our history classes in all 12 years of school are about slavery and the Holocaust, right? Like, it's just those two things in education. And I've never once heard about someone in the Confederacy owning slaves and having 2 separate pens for the work slaves and the meat slaves that they cook and eat. So like, I don't think this was something happening en masse because it just financially wouldn't make sense.
After lynchings. If you didn't know this, you don't follow me, and if you don't follow me, you should follow me.
That's the second time you've said that!
I'm not part of
Wait, what? Hold on, rewind that one.
If you don't follow me, you should follow me. My name's Chemistry, I teach Black history.
That's not real, right? I'm being pranked right now. This is like a poster on poll. This is one of those, like, white women are built for BBC poll posters, right? I was like, there's no way. There's no way this is real. Her name is not Chemistry and she doesn't teach Black history. I can't believe this. No. This has to be a troll. That's too on the fucking nose.
I'm not part of Hillman Talk. I just do this for fun and out of the passion that I have for spreading Black history. And just like everything else on my page, I'm not just feeding you a bunch of bullshit.
Want a lapel like mine? Donate $10 or more using the link in my bio. I'm gonna have to look this woman up.
There are a plethora of books that you can look into that proves that this is a fact. Books like The Delectable.
I'm sorry,
which
what?
Covers recipes of how to eat Black people. Another.
Hold on. That's a real book. Chat, that's a real book. That's a real ass book. The Delectable Word I Can't Say by Stephanie Woodard explores the historical reality of white people cannibalizing enslaved Africans, a taboo topic dismissed by scholars, revealing it as brutal punishment and ritualistic terror used to dehumanize Black bodies during the slave trade, challenging narratives of pure superstition and linking Black survival to resisting these horrific consumption fantasies. The Delectable Word I Can't Say, Human Consumption and Homoeroticism, does it talk about the buck breaking too? within U.S. slave culture is a 2014 book by Vincent Woodard. Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. The AI overview said Stephanie Woodard, but the overview said Vincent Woodard. Who is Stephanie, and how is she related to Vincent? What is happening? The book explores the homoeroticism of both literal and figurative acts of human cannibalism that occurred during slavery in the United States. Chat! What is figurative human cannibalism? How do you figuratively cannibalize someone? This book, I want to say, this book was published in 2014 and it has an 8.6 out of 10 for a rating. Google is telling you Vincent died in 2008 and somehow posthumously published a book in 2014, guessing his wife published the fictional notes as nonfiction or something? What the fuck?
Called Edible People, the historical consumption of foreigners, and I believe it was like the cannibalistic trade. And that's just two of many. But yeah, if you want to know more about the topic, if you scroll down on my page, I have a video called White People Ate Black People. It's very, very informative. So go ahead, learn you something, follow me. I teach Black history. Also tap my link tree. I have a nonprofit, a YouTube, all that good stuff.
A nonprofit? For what? Why does a TikToker have a nonprofit? They actually believe this nonsense. Again, I'm sure that some people ate some slaves. Like, I'm not going to say it never happened, right? I'm sure some people were fuck-ass crazy, and it happened, like, occasionally. I call you crazy, but wasn't cannibalism more prevalent in Africa than it was in the colonies? And it's still prevalent in Africa today! Someone said a law was passed in the mid-70s to criminalize the practice. Democrats voted to continue it. And the person that posted this video responded and said, "Let me explain Black culture to you, internet nobodies from nowhere. We do not give a fuck about no lawmaker bullshit. We are not white. We do not turn on the news channel looking for idols. And here is to define our lives." I think maybe he meant heroes. "Fuck Republicans, Democrats, and MAGA trash equally. The Native Americans discovered you smallpox-infested fucks eating each other, shipwrecked on the beach off the boat." I don't think that's how that happened. I wasn't there. I don't think that's how that happened, baby. In Europe, it was common practice to eat your dead. You dumb, high IQ fucks thought eating rotted, maggot-infested family members was a healthy practice. I mean, I guess you could call Casa Marzu a family member if you really want to. Eating mammals was a trend. Yeah, eating mummies was a trend. Yeah, you're right about that. Wendigos are a native monster for a reason. I think he needs to read real history books. High IQ herb things. What the fuck is she talking about? I have no idea. Like, this just came out of nowhere. This guy was like, a law was passed in the mid-70s to criminalize the practice. Democrats voted to continue it. I don't even know if that's real or not. But, like, what kind of response is that? Literally hadn't been a thing in any European thing since way before the Roman Republic. Like, literally Neolithic Europeans. Again, there's definitely cannibalism that goes on occasionally in Europe, even in, like, current times, right? We had that German guy who got arrested even though he obtained consent from someone to eat them. You know, like, cannibalism does happen on occasion. You can't say it never happens. It's not exactly common, but it does happen. There was cannibalism during the Holodomor. Yeah. During Jamestown and the starving period, which was a rough time for harvest, the settlers resorted to eating one another to survive the winter. Yeah, like, cannibalism has happened on occasion. It's not exactly something that people do all willy-nilly, I guess, unless you're throwing a fucking Donner party, right? Like, this guy said, "Damn, you'd think white people were the villains of the world the way these people act about us. Meanwhile, I'm at home taking a shit, finding out about how we apparently eat black people." And someone responded, "You may not, but many did and do." And he asked, "What white people are still practicing cannibalism? Many races practiced cannibalism hundreds of years ago. Coincidentally, most modern day practices take place in Africa, Papua New Guinea, and India." Crazy. And I still remember that CNN reporter visiting that cannibal Indian tribe and eating human brain in the interview. And then this person responded, "One can infer, especially when there are an unusual amount of blacks missing each year in America, never to be found again." This man's name is Logic is Key, and he's purporting that if a black person goes missing in America, there's some secret network of white cannibals that have kidnapped them to make them into a succulent Chinese meal. What? This is absolutely a pool plan. Yeah, like, it has to be, right? There's no way. Yakub made people do it. And then, there was also this post. This guy, the racist origins of chicken fingers. And once again, we go back to the, I cannot tell if this is a poll shit post or if this is something that's been posted on Facebook that is generally believed. Because I have a folder of these kinds of images that I have saved off of Facebook many years ago that people without a hint of irony were posting as complete fact. In early 19th century America, a common punishment for disobedient slaves was to have a finger removed. Slave owners, who would often engage in cannibalism, would then cover the finger in egg and flour, fry it in beef tallow, and eat it. Soon after, to outsmart the slavers and save the other slaves from mutilation and humiliation, kitchen slaves would secretly substitute the human fingers with chicken breast, washing, seasoning, and frying them, coining the term chicken fingers. Like and share if you've learned something new. How were the white slavers simultaneously incredibly intelligent, but also dumb enough to believe that the chicken breast was actually a human finger? And also, what if they saw the slave that was supposed to lose the finger later? Wouldn't they be like, hey, yo, hold up, why you got 5 fingers still? I thought I ate one of those. This entire thing is beyond retarded. Zymimaru, thank you. Jordan Peele has this new movie plot. True. They can do the, like, oh god, what was it called? Spirit cooking? They can do a new rendition of spirit cooking where instead of the global elite, it's actually just white people cannibalizing black people. Certainly learned something new. There's a new category of people who need therapy. I did find that lady's TikTok, and she has 508,000 followers, 5.9 million likes. It looks like, unfortunately, her name is actually Chemistry, and she does teach Black history. A real call to action for America. All right.
Y'all have got to be tired of seeing videos of influential people with a big platform, coming on their screen, yelling at their phone, talking about what this administration is doing, with no plan, no call to action at all. This ain't gonna be your average video, so stay tuned. And typically, my videos are for the Black community. Ow. This is going to be something that's addressing the entire country, right? People that are tired of this administration. And if you think Trump is still the issue and it's just him, I need you to wake the fuck up and realize that it is a lot bigger than that. That man is just the face, and we all know that. So this is going to be a call to action. I have a few things. But first, I want to start with taxes file exempt. If you can, file exempt. Why are you paying taxes?
It doesn't work
when you know
that
where
way.
Your tax dollars is going. But turning around, confused and mad that that's where they went. You knew where they were going to go. You know where they're going to go.
I mean, like, I agree with her. I would love to stop paying taxes, but you can't just file exempt. I'm all for people to not pay taxes. Yeah, like, I get on board. Like, yeah, don't pay taxes, but it doesn't work like that. They will come for you. Might actually be able to convince the left to stop paying taxes. I would love to. Let's come together on one issue. Let's all stop paying taxes, dear Chemistry.
It ain't changing no time soon. File exempt. Stop paying them. Okay? Stop paying them. Nary a tax return should be filed this year. Nary. Next, take boycotts seriously. Now, I understand that it's cool to think of a company as canceled, but
that's cool. I wanted to hear more about history. Terms and Conditions comes out in theaters. I don't know what that is. We all witnessed attempted murder of a pregnant woman.
The video of that white nurse being negligent while that black lady was in screaming pain during labor, that was attempted murder.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
That was attempted murder. I don't care how you look at it. I'm going to explain to you how it was attempted murder, but I need you to start, when people say things like we need to have these conversations and we need to deconstruct and we need to pull back these layers, these are the fucking layers.
Does she have
period. That black lady was she could have been a fucking statistic. So you know what her likelihood of being a statistic was? And when I say
I could potentially agree with her. There's a lot of incompetent nurses, but I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe she was in pain because she was in labor, not because of the white nurse. I have no idea. It says revoking her license wasn't enough. So I guess whatever happened, the lady did get punished for it. I was like, maybe I would agree. Maybe revoking the license wasn't enough, but I have no idea what case she's talking about. Is there a name there in the comments? Prison for Lacrista Vaughn. Hold nurse Lacrista Vaughn accountable for negligence and ER triage. I'm initiating this petition to bring immediate attention to the actions of nurse Lacrista Vaughn, whose conduct in the emergency department has raised serious concerns about patient safety, proper protocol, and professional responsibility. Recently, a laboring patient in severe distress arrived at the emergency room seeking urgent medical attention. Instead of being transferred immediately to the labor and delivery unit, as is standard practice across hospitals and required by maternal care triage protocols, this patient suffered delays in receiving the necessary care due to decisions made by Nurse Vaughn. Negligence could have resulted in catastrophic outcomes for both mother and child. In the U.S., the standard triage protocol dictates that laboring patients should be promptly assessed and, if necessary, moved to specialized units without delays. I have no idea what proper triage for pregnant women is. Hospitals implement these protocols to ensure the safety and well-being of patients during critical medical situations. Failure to adhere to these protocols compromises patient safety and can lead to avoidable tragedies. In light of these events, it is essential that a full investigation be launched into Nurse Vaughn's conduct. We demand that the hospital administration thoroughly review her conduct in the ER triage and assess her adherence to established protocols. Furthermore, a reassessment of her professional qualifications and license by the State Nursing Board should be undertaken to ensure that she is fit to continue practicing. The gravity of this negligence cannot be understated. Every patient deserves competent, respectful, and timely care. Okay. Who is Lacrista Vaughn, nurse Karen that went viral for demonic stare and treating patients with negligence? Well, I wouldn't really say she went viral, considering how hard it was to find anything about this. A video recorded inside Dallas Regional Medical Center has drawn widespread criticism after appearing to show a nurse delaying care for a woman in active labor. The footage has reignited long-running concerns about racial disparities in maternal health and pressures placed on frontline staff in busy clinical settings. The nurse, identified online as Lacrista Vaughn, had been labeled Nurse Karen by some social media users. Yeah, I don't know why they put Lacrista and then in parentheses the same exact thing but with a lowercase c. It's kind of weird. Who argue that the recording reflects deeper failings in patient care. The clip circulated rapidly on TikTok and Instagram, attracting millions of views and extensive commentary from healthcare workers and campaigners. Dallas Regional Medical Center has said it is reviewing the incident but has not confirmed whether any disciplinary action has been taken. Neither the hospital nor Vaughn has issued a detailed public statement addressing the footage. And questions continue to be raised about what the clip shows and how it should be interpreted. The TikTok clip posted by the patient's mother shows Carrie Jones in a wheelchair crying out in pain as she appears to enter active labor. A nurse identified by viewers as Vaughn continues intake questioning while Jones pleads for help, and her mother later said they had already been waiting more than 30 minutes. At one point, Jones tells staff the baby is right there, and she was moved shortly afterward, and her child was born 12 minutes later. The newborn was monitored for 24 hours as a precaution, and the mother's caption accused staff of prioritizing paperwork over urgent care. A separate video circulating on TikTok appears to show Vaughn in another incident involving an unconscious man reportedly experiencing seizures. In that recording, staff appear to lift the man before placing him in a wheelchair. The footage has not been publicly addressed by the hospital. Little confirmed information has been released about Vaughn's professional background. Publicly visible social media profiles indicate she completed a Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Western Governors University in Texas and is a mother of twin boys. Her social media pages have recently attracted a high volume of critical comments in response to the viral footage. Dallas Regional Medical Center has not confirmed whether she remains employed there. Viral, 129 likes, by the way. I was hoping to find a funny video to look at on that woman's channel because she was spouting crazy nonsense. But instead I found a possible nurse negligence case. I have no idea what's going on with this.